Hey everybody, welcome back to Cinema A to B. All right, Alec, it's finally time.
Finally time.
I finally watched this. So this is FX's series Shogun,
hmm
which was just going to be an original like limited series. Now we get to call it Shogun Season 1
Yeah. I have thoughts about that, so we'll talk.
Yeah. I kind of do too a little bit, but so yeah, this is 2024 with some COVID delays and such that we'll get into. But yeah, kick us off on why you kind of picked this series.
Just to preface it, I have read the book multiple times by James Clavell, and so I knew kind of what was going in. And I had a little bit of trepidations about it. I had watched a little bit about the 80s miniseries that kind of did the book. And the book is very slow. It's very long. There's a lot of stuff that's done in people's heads or kind of background and stuff like that just doesn't translate well. And so in my opinion, it's kind of hard to figure out what goes on or what gets dropped, what doesn't. I wanted to bring this up because I think this TV show is stunning. It is absolutely stunning across the board. Visually stunning. I think acting wise, it's stunning. I think story beats, it's stunning. It's dialogue and directing, like across the board. I think this is done at a very high level. And one of the things I love is right off the bat for me, episode 1 knocked it out of the park because I felt like this is what episode 1 should have been. Like what they kind of pulled from the book and what they got rid of. I don't know, like I think I told you, like you're like 150 pages in and just in episode 1, because there's so much of going into the like kind of the background of some of the characters and bringing you up to speed, where visually you can do it so much faster. In a television audience, you don't need to have all of this, right? So I think it was done really well. They followed the book pretty good up until like episode 4, I think, and then on there was a lot of differences that I remember being different from the book. So, anyways, I really liked this a lot. I'm like, every time it came out, I was like, Laura, we are watching the next episode. Like, I don't care. That's what we're doing. Like, it's Aaron, boom, done. This is what we're watching. So, had a great time. I haven't actually rewatched this. I think one of the big things, too, is just hard because you have to focus so much on the dialogue as well as reading the dialogue, because I don't know about you, but I don't speak Japanese, let alone ancient, 1500s Japanese either. So this is a little bit of a harder watch just because you have to like really pay attention to really pick up about half the dialogue. So I did think it was a good choice because most of the book, it's supposed to be what like Cosmo Jarvis's character is speaking. Blackthorn is actually Portuguese throughout the entire movie, entire book. He very rarely speaks English. It's mostly Portuguese. And then obviously he learns Japanese. So, but I was glad that they decided to go not doing the entire thing in subtitles. But I'm going to let you talk and get your feeling. So it's been about a year or so, a little less than I've seen this. So you've, I think, just freshly finished this. So year out, there's been a bit of a hype for. What's your takeaways?
Kind of wrestling with this one, man.
Okay. Right.
It's kind of a mixed bag for me. I think on a technical level, it's exquisite.
Mm-hmm.
I really like what they did with some of the lens choices, and you get some edge fringing out of focus. Kind of gives it like a vintage look while still shooting digital, and they like embraced like the digital image. They're not trying to make it look like film. Color grade is really, really good. I think the location works. It's British Columbia, but I think it makes sense from a logistics standpoint. So all the technical levels, I think it's like the highest of highs. The acting, same deal. But for me, the pacing's just an absolute problem. Like, really? It's just, yeah, I was dreadfully bored at long stretches of this show.
Okay.
So finally, we've come across a work that I think we both appreciate, but we're like coming at very differently. Mm-hmm. And yeah. I really, it has moments that I think are absolutely outstanding. But when I came away from it as a whole, I really struggled with where I started and where I got to, and that it took that long. And it felt long for me. It just felt painfully long. Like there are certain episodes that seem to like really rattle through. Episode 1 absolutely did. It was moving, it was clicking, but it seemed like every couple episodes, like just I was dying. Like I was really struggling to get through it. It was a slog for me. It really was. And to me, it's not the subtitles. I don't have a problem with those. I love Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I love Mongol, The Rise of Genghis Khan, which has the actor that plays Toranaga's like right-hand man.
Yep.
He plays Genghis Khan. He's fantastic. I love the cast. I think Anna is tremendous. Cosmo is doing a cadence breath thing with his delivery that's very, very interesting. I can't even bang on the story. It's not the story. It's I'll tell you what it is. I don't get the ebb and flow in this show that I do in like an Andor.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
I get, like the payoff is way, way later. Like the payoff's in like 8, 9, 10. And I'll be honest, like I didn't feel like it's just such a downer piece of work. Like that there was no satisfaction for me, like slogging through 10 episodes. I struggle with it because it's a very honest portrait of the era and life and death, but I'm too wired for like redemptive cinema.
Okay. All right.
And so like a more upper ending, and you don't really get that. I mean,
unless you're a huge Toranaga fan.
Hell no. I mean, I love the actor, and and I find the character completely fascinating. I don't know. I'm still wrestling with this one. I didn't hate it.
Yeah. No. I didn't get that. But I can tell you, I totally get where you're coming from.
It's just brutal, like, which makes no sense because I'm the guy that can sit through like Malik and be like completely engrossed, enthralled. But for long stretches of it, or not long stretches, but every couple episodes, I just was like, man, this is I'm really having a hard time like getting through this episode. And I watched as much of it on the projector as I could, which helped. Although the pacing of this thing, there was a couple nights that like put me to sleep, and I could tell, and I like stopped it and said, I need to go to bed. Like this thing's just putting me out. I'm going to say one more thing. It's going to probably piss you off. I think it's utterly absurd that this is an 8.6 in IMDb. I think it's dreadfully overrated. I get all the acting awards, but like as a show, it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag.
Okay. So totally, I think some of it, kind of what I talked about, having read the book a couple times, I know how slow the book really is. I mean, we're talking slow. And so for me, this is a fast-paced version of the story, right? And and I'm also probably filling in gaps and other things. Like I know what's going on because I think Laura also, and I apologize, Laura, when you listen to this, whether or not I'm wrong, but I think there were points where she definitely was not nearly as interested in this as I was. She liked it, she appreciated it, but I think she was much more like, okay, let's just get this over with and watch something else. So I think she resonates probably more with what you're saying with it. For me, I think obviously, I don't want to call it just a character piece because you like character pieces, and I don't want to like sully your name by saying like, but this is very much like, I think, how do I say this? There's a lot of moments where it's just them like flexing their acting muscles or doing like stuff that is semi-character driven, but also like isn't totally necessary for the character. And there's a lot of people just sitting around talking in meetings, and
there's a lot of that.
There's a lot of that, which is there's a lot in the book too.
Yeah,
so like,
yeah,
it makes sense.
I get it.
So, but it's fun for me to watch all of that, and I really like what Cosmo was doing, even though there's a lot of people who hated it that when I was reading online.
I'm not in that camp at all.
Oh, I know.
I really liked what he was doing. In fact, I find his character Blackthorn absolutely enthralling. Yeah,
it's very interesting. There's a bunch of changes from the books that I kind of question why they did it this way, but I'm fine with it. The big thing I think too was just like I said, I'm filling in all these different things from the book, or picking up this stuff. So it's a kind of a fun, not fan service is not the right way, but kind of a fan watch of like, oh, That's from that part of the book, or no, they skipped over that, or there's not that. So it's a lot more fun for me to actually watch this and go through it because I can enjoy all of those bits for it. I agree. I didn't know it was an 8.6. I did not look that up. I think that's a little high. I'd give it a solid 8. 8 out of 10 for me, at least for me, for this. I know you probably wouldn't. You're probably in the 7s, but that's perfectly fine. For me, it did fire on all cylinders, and I would take Andor over this. There's a bunch of other shows. This is not like up there, like it's not taking my top spot for shows, but I do really like this show. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, here's the problem. You're probably gonna wonder if I've taken crazy pills, but I don't think they should have done the book for for the full first season. I think they needed to break it down into sections and maybe do a 2-season.
And I read that
for the book.
I read that. I don't think it's like lunacy because I'm already like, I already think that there's pacing problems. So like, I'm not going to like be like, oh, that's crazy. That's insane. Why would you do that? Knowing how dense the book is, I've absolutely seen that comment in articles and on boards and stuff, like very much kind of a consistent beat the drum of like, hey, I actually probably could have been. Of course, I'm going, what?
Yeah. Well, and I think you could have there are moments in the book that they can build to or get through that. I think if they add it back in, they can make it a little bit more engaging story, and you're not going to have because there's a lot of big moments of like you need to move pieces across the board. I mean, like the whole book is basically one chess game by Toranaga, and that's literally what the book is. And there's a lot of time and he spends of just doing nothing and just waiting for other people to move. So trying to fit all of this chess movement into 10 episodes, I think or however many it is.
Yeah, it's 10.
10 episodes. I think it's tough because I think then you're like, hey, this is like, there's too much dedicated to having to move these pieces when you can do it in a little bit more organic way if you break it up in over 2 seasons. I don't know if they had the money or I think FX was taking a gamble, and so they said, hey, let's just do it. We're probably not. They gave us money for a limited series, not a mini series. Let's just do the entire book. And that's the thing, because Clavell wrote other books, but he didn't do sequels. He jumped time periods, like huge swaths of time, or went back in time too. So, and everything I've read is basically they're doing their Shogun season 2 is literally like happening after this. Like, so Toranaga is still going to be, yeah. So I'll be curious. So there is no source material for season 2. So right. I don't know what that looks like.
That's concerning.
Yeah. That's why I'm kind of like, I didn't really want that. I'm kind of okay with it being this limited run series. I'll be interested. I'll give it a watch for the first couple episodes, see if it grabs me, but I'll be interested in what they do. Because I mean, there was some plot points that didn't really get super tied up that they could have done, but again, it's nothing. The book is not action heavy. This is not like an epic war, book.
We're preconditioned.
Yeah,
we're preconditioned that when we see samurai show up in something,
yeah,
that we expect more action. And it's like this, I was expecting more The Last Samurai, and what I got was something more akin to like a BBC like drama.
Yeah. Which is the guy, it was British who wrote it, so makes sense.
I mean, I guess my big complaint is that it's just too much time with usually 2 characters talking to each other in rooms, in closed spaces. And I can only put up with that so much. Yeah. And because when it gets outside of those Japanese houses, then it's typically pretty compelling. Like, even if they don't have to fight necessarily, but it's just usually a little more interesting. So yeah, I'm still kind of wrangling with it, with where but yeah, I kind of came away when I finished it was like, man, I don't know if I'm at a point where this was worth the investment.
Well, sorry to keep hounding you to watch this. So that was kind of...
it's I don't want to continue to bang that drum.
No.
The cinematography is just next level. I mean, this is shot better than most feature films are. The same was true of the edit. I didn't have any problems with when I say pacing problems, it's more of like story beat pacing problems. It's not an editing issue. Like I wouldn't really say that the edit was necessarily a problem. And I'll give them credit. I found it really pretty easy to follow the cast of characters. Like I thought they did a good job of establishing this is who this is. And there's quite a few of them that I didn't have a problem tracking with at all. Like there were a couple places I kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit with what exactly was playing out in a few areas, but they do some repetition stuff in this to where like as a viewer, I'm not really. So that was well handled given the vastness of the novel. And listening you describe the novel, it sounds a lot like the challenges that Dune has.
Yes.
With inner monologue and intent and things that are just really hard to convey
and
on
then
screen.
You do kind of a flashback or here's my inner monologue, stop, he said something, and now I have to explain that something for 15 pages to kind of bring you up to speed of what he's thinking about. So it's really cool. Like I said, I really like the book. I know I remember my first time reading, Snow was the one who said you should read this book, and I read it and I was like, it took me forever, because I think that the first half I'm just like, what the heck am I doing? This thing is so boring and slow. And then the back half, it starts to kind of speed up and you get a lot of those kind of cool plot points. And so then that kind of brought it all together. Going, oh, it's all this setup for this moments. Now, I'm kind of with you. Obviously, I knew it was going to be happening the last couple episodes, but I didn't get the epicness from like it was definitely cool, some of the things, but I didn't get how epic it was in the book translated very well in the TV show. While I still felt like there were good set pieces, this was definitely not like a Game of Thrones penultimate episode kind of a situation. Didn't feel like that kind of like, ooh, we can, like, wow, we just went through that
I was
kind of
wanting that from episode 9.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it. I was like, okay, what does 10 have? And it just kind of didn't really deliver for me.
Trying to remember the book too. I feel like it does, and I don't want to just keep harping on it like the book is better kind of a situation, but the book is better. Not necessarily. Like again, I really like this show. I know you're not as much, but there's felt more epic, and it did feel a little bit like a stronger kind of plot points that covered like 8, 9, and 10, where you're just kind of like, oh, crazy. Like I remember. Because I remember correctly in the show, I don't know, if you haven't watched the show, it's been on a year. A little spoiler, so we've kind of already spoiled it. But I know Toranaga has to bring in his top general Hiramoto, because when he's fake and sick, he doesn't in the real book. He just is sick, or whatever, or vice versa. Whatever it was one of the things, and I just kind of like felt like that was an interesting change, and changed dynamic and stuff like that.
I think he's like actually sick in the show.
Okay, yeah. So he was just faking it. It's because he just needed it to take longer.
And maybe he was, but it seemed more like he actually was.
Yeah, and when he's saying that he was going to bow the knee, that's what it is. When he said he was going to bow the knee, and he has to bring in, because all his generals are kind of going against him, he has to bring in Hiramoto or whatever and tell him. He's like, no, that's not what he did. They all were just kind of like, all right, that's what we're doing. This sucks, but okay. So there's a couple of, I think, moments that got made smaller in the TV show just because either budget-wise or changed direction or characters changed a little bit. But again, these are, for me, my small minor parts. I still enjoyed it thoroughly through and through. I plan on, going through and watching it again. Now, the big question, did this come with ads for you? Did you have to watch most of it with a break?
Yeah, but they didn't seem as egregious to me.
Okay.
I don't know if it's because it's Hulu, but the ad breaks weren't as frequent or as obnoxious as Andor season 2. And then I watched as many as I could on Plex without ad breaks. So it was kind of a mix. But yeah, I no complaints on that. I thought it was fine. That wasn't really a distraction. Yeah, I mean, there's, another critique. It's really a budgetary thing. There are some times where I can feel like I can see the edges of the world.
Mm-hmm.
But you're trying to recreate 1600 Osaka
Mm-hmm.
and Edo, which would become Tokyo. Like, how are you gonna do that consistently? And so they're consistent. They'll give you a nice big sprawling establishing shot that's digitally created, but it looks good, and then
Mm-hmm.
punch into the sets, which the sets are really great. And they're, I guess the one that doesn't feel great to me is Osaka Castle. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
just it it feels like a set, feels pretty small. Like, I just I I think you would have to spend way too much money to even justify that doing it the
Yeah.
way that you probably would have wanted to. So, and I can complain about the pacing all I want, but I don't even really know what this looks like if you try to condense it down to like a 2.5 or 3 hour feature. I
Oh,
don't know that it works. Like, I don't think it makes any sense.
yeah. I don't think you can get a coherent story out of it.
No, no, I don't think you would. So
And so I'm gonna. As you were talking, it came up with a point to me that my defense for possibly going into 2 seasons is there's a great moment in the book, and they show it in the TV show, but I don't think it does it justice. It's basically when Blackthorn kind of goes back and finds all his crew, still, or the people, and they're basically in like the bad part of town, and the TV show kind of hits it, but there's this whole kind of, in the book, this whole revulsion that he has for his own crewmates, the people who he's been trying to, like, basically he's just like, you guys are in this tier cycle, you are the baseless. And like, just how different he is. Like, they're offering him food that he grew up eating. He's just like, no, like, he's kind of gone full native at this point. And you don't get that in the TV show. Like, I just don't think there's enough time for you to see kind of his complete changeover from going from English pilot to, wow, now I am kind of leaning into the Japanese culture of the different types of food and how the whole respect hierarchy stuff goes on, and what's clean, what's unclean. Oh my goodness, baths are amazing. Like all this different stuff. And just this moment is for me big in the book, where you just see this drastic. He realizes the change, and you just don't get that in the TV show.
not as much, but he is like disgusted by that lone crewman that he encounters, and kind of what you just said, I kind of gathered in that scene. So I think it, even for the layperson,
it works. Yeah.
It works. Yeah. I was like, no, he's embraced enough of the culture to understand like how he appeared when he came onto the scene is now what he's like looking at on the ground.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not really interested in. Well, and that guy basically speaks for the rest of the crew in the show too. Is like, we're not interested in, following you wherever it is you want to go, which is really interesting. Like, what would even have become of those guys? Like, so yeah, there's a lot more internally going on in the show.
Yeah.
And I guess my challenge is like, are there more creative ways of like reflecting that inner turmoil outwardly? And I think that's the challenge of adapting the book. It's like, for certain scenes, I think it works here to do it and it's compelling. And then other places, it's like, I don't think we can really do much other than having these characters converse and
try to get it across. Because the last thing you want in this is narration. Like, narration, I think, would absolutely just destroy every aspect of this show. I don't need someone talking to me what's happening. Because part of it is also the fact that you're going on this journey of, I would think for most of us, medieval Japan culture is foreign to us. And so, like, I at least can kind of connect with the English, pilot. So, like, I want to experience the journey he's having of going through all this without really, like understanding. So I like a narration, I think, would kind of get, no matter who did it, would kind of get in the way of that, of making us understand too much too fast, or I don't know. So
now I do want to kind of speak to the strengths of the show, which is that the dynamic and relationship between Blackthorn and Mariko is outstanding. And had no challenge watching the show when they're sharing the screen together. In fact, that first scene in episode, I think it's 4, where he's in the hot spring in the evening and she comes to him and they have she's kind of trying to be decent. She's got her back to him and she's like, basically like, tell me about London. And that's probably my favorite scene in the whole show. There's like a specific score that they composed for the show that they reuse a lot during what I would consider really poignant moments. It got a little long in the tooth towards the end. I was like, really, write another piece of music? And the score is really good. It's Atticus Ross, I believe. And so, I mean, no issue there. But yeah, that was one of my favorite scenes where he's just like, you know, I'd take you to my queen. And she's like, would she have us? He's like, oh, I think she would. And we'd walk on the River Thames and waters, you know, where you can lose yourself and has no memory. And it's a really nice, the subtext there is particularly strong because they both have kind of pasts that they'd rather
not
forget.
Yeah.
So and as you get towards the penultimate episode, it is rather devastating what is going to play out. But she was fated to that to a certain extent anyway. That was kind of interesting to see the complexity of like being married to a man that didn't really love you, because if he did, he'd allow you to like in your life basically.
Yeah.
That was a brutal scene where she's like, she straight up tells him like, I would rather live 1,000 lifetimes than like die with you basically.
Yeah.
I was like, and he just weeps. So yeah, it's got its emotional moments. It just, I guess I need a little more action. I just do. I'm a simpleton. I'm a simpleton, man. I'm a simpleton.
You need a little more Tom Cruise. That's what it needed.
Yeah. Right.
Get a little Tom Cruise in it. Yeah. But I go back. So this was my
to clarify, Last Samurai, it might feel like it's some sort of adaptation of Shogun. It's actually not. It shares some similarities. It's based off a Frenchman that was involved in battles in the 1800s, like 2 battles in particular. So it's confused because it's like, oh, well, you know, Last Samurai is just like a reinterpretation of Shogun. It's like, no, actually it's not. It's not very faithful, but he was French, and then it's Tom Cruise. But anyway. Sorry.
So no. So this is my first introduction to Cosmo, but actually with Anna, like I had literally watched the whole Monarch Legacy of Monsters that had come out that she was in.
I haven't seen
and
that.
It was fine. And then also she's in just a little bit, but the show Pachinko that had come out, that one's really good. But she's not a major character in that at all. So she's very well. I know they're coming out with a second season, or have come out with a second season. I haven't watched that, but the first season she's minor character, but Monarch, she's a pretty big character. So I was like seeing, I was like, wow, you've got chops like to do all this, like really impressed. And then I was really happy with Cosmo as well. So I'm hoping he goes on to do big things.
Yeah, but we're kind of disappointed in Cosmo at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of, you know, I don't know, shot yourself in the foot with that one, man.
I know he's the lead in this movie on Stalin, but I'm just like, dude, I'm sorry.
How do you drop out of a Nolan film? Like,
I know,
do the Nolan film and you'll get more.
And Nolan
leads.
Holds grudges.
I mean, and
like, I hate to say this about the guy, but like, the proof's in the pudding.
Yeah. Well, and think about how many movies someone has done for him as a side character, and he makes them
the main
lead, right? Like,
it's
Cillian Murphy, obviously Matt Damon now. Like, you've got all these people. Like, I'm saying all, I've only listed 2, but like, there's more people like who have kind of, you know, moved up that are given bigger parts or those kind of things where it's just like, look, he rewards kind of faithfulness and loyalty. Yeah. And definitely holds a grudge, like you said.
and maybe he won't. Maybe he won't. And it was a smaller role, and he hemmed and hawed. And Nolan was like, dude, you got to go do that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know behind the scenes. It's possible that Nolan like was like, no, yeah, it's cool. Like, I don't know. I can only go at it from my perspective, which is like you don't take yourself willingly out of a Christopher Nolan film, even if the role's small, just because, like you said, if you have chops, which Cosmo does, I really like him in Warfare as well. He does a whole lot with like for that movie, decent size role.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. And I don't know if I might watch him as young Stalin.
It still boggles my mind. I mean, again, like you said, it could have been Nolan's like, you got to take that part, drop out kind of a thing. And, you know, maybe, but I don't know. I don't know how many more movies Nolan has left in him. And so as an actor, do I want to work with one of the best directors that's out there currently? Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
You know?
No, for sure. For sure.
So,
but yeah, I just love the little grunting and stuff that he does as Blackthorn.
Yeah. It's
really interesting. And I was like, this isn't how this guy normally speaks, I don't think. As soon as he started opening his mouth in the show, I was like, this is a really interesting creative choice he's made for this character, and I really quite like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have a low enough like baritone.
Well, I'm not even gonna
do Blackthorn, but it's very, very memorable. And he's just got an interesting look anyway. He's kind of just a non-conventional looking guy in general.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it worked the way he looks. It's like it fits that they are constantly calling him barbarian.
Yeah.
It like, no,
that's fair.
That's fair. Yeah. But yeah, Anna, I
just kills it.
Hopefully I keep seeing her show up and stuff because I think she's tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
Just one of those instances of an actress that can emote really well without speaking lines, like expressive eyes, like
yeah.
And obviously she's gorgeous. I mean, like that doesn't hurt either. But she's not just a pretty face. Like she can run circles around, and that really went for really the entire cast was like super impressive. But yeah, I loved seeing Asano from Mongol as Yabushige. Yeah. Like he's so good. I just love his laugh. Like he's always laughing. The character's just like,
and he's like that. That's kind of really not really what like in historically, but like in the book.
But the character in the book,
the character in the book. So like
very interesting character. Like super believable, trying to play all sides. and it burns him. I mean, ultimately, yeah. It's. So
I can tell you my favorite casting choice, and he's only in like 2 or 3 episodes, was the guy who played Rodriguez. I forget his name from Lost. From Lost and
from The Dark Knight, plays the mayor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. He just, because in the book, it's just a fun character, and his and Cosmo, like, and Blackthorn's character have a fun little thing together. He did it perfectly. I was just like,
Nestor Carbonell is the actor's name. Yeah, he's really good.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, yeah, really good, but like in this role, he was perfect. When he came out, and I was like, oh, I love it. Like this is fantastic. Well done. This is a great choice. I'm here for it. So
now, did that character die or not?
No, he does not. Or
I wonder if they could bring him back for season 2 or not. I think that'd be an interesting choice. But yeah. I'm
pretty sure.
Like, I cannot. I'm going to say something really funny. I think it's going to make you laugh. I was more disappointed that Blackthorn's ship was burned than Blackthorn himself.
That's fair. He did.
I'm like, dang it! You're telling me I don't get like a big harbor battle between him and the Portuguese with this ship and the guns. I don't get some straight up master and commander action in this show.
No, you don't.
So disappointing. Yeah, I'm just like.
So there's many reasons for that, which they did not really go into. So that's beside the point. I don't know if they're going to talk about it in season 2.
Season 2, yeah.
But
yeah,
I don't.
I think my countenance was lower than even Blackthorn's when he saw his fucking ship in the heart.
Yeah, he was pretty frustrated in the book.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was good. My goodness. Well, outside of hating the movie completely and thinking it should get only a 2 out of 10 stars, Any last thoughts on the show?
No, I mean, I'd probably give it somewhere between a 7.5 and an 8.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah,
I'm a
so
solid
not
8.
like super far off, but like, it's just, I'm gonna warn people, man. It can be a slog. It just can, and
That's fine.
it's virtue of the material. It's not because of any technical problem or bad acting or anything like that. It's just, but yeah, subtitling is not a problem. In fact, there were a couple places where it was easy to like, I kind of went back. I'd go back a little bit, like from a plot standpoint, like what was going on there? And I just shuttle it back because I knew the subs were coming up. But
Awesome. Well,
yeah.
Well, we just want to say thank you for everybody watching or listening to this episode of Cinema A to B, and we will see you all next week on another episode of this wonderful, amazing podcast. Thanks, everybody.
Take care.